and welcome to Reverend Cassandra's last YouTube video. I want to share with you just a little synopsis of a story that we're going to share on Sunday. It's called The Promise by Nicola Davies. We've read it in High Street before, but it was a while ago. So I'll just refresh your memories. It's about a girl who lives by stealing from others. She kind of has a hard life. And one night she sees an old woman with a very plump bag that she's sure is full of food and money. And she goes up to her and she tries to rip it from her arms. And that woman is a lot stronger than she appeared. And so it's a big tug of war. And finally the woman says, "I'll let you have it as long as you promise to plant them." And the girl is like, "Yeah, sure, I'll promise. Whatever, just give me the bag." And she runs off. And then finally, when she gets to her encampment, she opens up the bag and finds it full of green acorns. Beautiful green acorns. And her heart just melts a little bit. And she starts to realize what she had just said, her promise to this woman. So she goes to sleep, and the next morning she starts to plant all these acorns. And of course she can't plant them in one day or 2 days. There's so many acorns, and she plants them all over the city, in the kind of the neglected parts of the city. And eventually her planting catches on, or her promise catches on to other people. It's contagious. And so other people start planting trees and flowers and gardens and fruits and vegetables. And the city, which was mean and hard and ugly, starts to get softer and greener and kinder. And not only does the city change, but this girl changes. She's changed by the promise that she makes. So this story could be read as being about me, as kind of the, horseback riding, frontier, liberal religious minister that travels from church to church, kind of like she does. She ends up going to another city after that, and another city, and keeps planting. And I could be said to be planting, the green acorns of liberal religion, and kind of changing, the world, a city at a time kind of thing. But I like to read this story as actually being about you. You are this girl because you made the first promise that was contagious, and I caught it, right? You have made so many promises throughout your life as a congregation. You were the first gay church. You made that promise to the LGBTQ community. And you may have been the first congregation to call a LGBTQ minister, a lesbian minister, Yvonne Miller. Another promise is that you have chosen several times throughout your time at High Street Church building to stay here, to keep this building, and to be a downtown church, which I take to mean to be more than about wanting to be a prominent downtown church, but because of your promise to Macon, your love of the heart of Macon, and wanting Macon to be a life-giving place where all can flourish. So your promise for working for racial and economic justice, that's what I take you wanting to be a downtown church to be all about. One little story that was told to me when I first got here, I think it was during candidating week. You all would be part of the pilgrimage for immigrant rights. Every year you would join other congregations and individuals, organizations, in walking like 5 or more miles all around Macon. Sometimes in the east, it was always Palm Sunday, so it would change, from early March to like late April, and sometimes it would be very hot. And you were getting ready for this pilgrimage, and you wanted everyone's light to shine out as a unified Unitarian Universalist group. So you were ordering those yellow standing on the side of love t-shirts, and you wanted to, make one clean order, and so you had a deadline, and you wanted people to sign up by this deadline. And so, all right, so you had 10 people sign up, so you made the order, and that was good, and the shirts were coming, and then another person signed up, and another person and say, oh, okay, well, we'll extend the deadline another week. And so then you made another order, and more shirts were coming. But then another person wanted to come, and another person, and so then you had to make another order, and you were just kind of surprised by how much people wanted to commit to this pilgrimage and to this to the being in solidarity with immigrants in Middle Georgia, and through all the sweat and hardship of walking this long walk. So you were surprised by maybe the contagiousness of promise making. And lastly, I think about the Congregational Relationship Covenant, which means promise, that we solidified while I was here with you. You all did a lot of work on it actually during Reverend Cynthia's time as your interim minister before me, but we put it together, we polished it up, and we did the process of making it a congregational covenant. And last night at the board meeting, we worked out something that had been a disagreement, a fairly divisive issue the month prior. And I was just thinking about our covenant and how that helped to guide us to stick through the hard things and stick with it and stay at the table. And that really served us. And we came to a good compromise. And it was really a beautiful story of covenant. So anyway, going back to the story, the main point is that promises, we might not keep them all the time, as I think it's Martin Buber says, we're promise making, promise breaking, promise renewing creatures. So it's not about being perfect, but it's about being open to that transformation that making a promise can have on your life and on the lives of others. So it kind of reminded me of It's a Wonderful Life, where George is contemplating suicide. He thinks that his life has, is meaningless. And so the angel Gabriel comes down and it's like, no. Let's just take a little life review here. And they go back to the town that could have been if George had never been born. And so that would be like us going back to Macon and asking what would Macon be like if High Street had never been born. And I would like to add another thing though, because it's not just one-sided like that. What would High Street look like if Macon wasn't here? In other words, what would High Street be like, if we didn't have promise? If we didn't have our promise that we do have to Macon and with Macon and Middle Georgia. So faith without promise and practice is dead. So again, we won't always do promises perfectly. That's okay, but it's the making of the promise and the trying and the renewing of broken promises. That's what matters, and that is transformational. And this Sunday, you'll be releasing me from my promise to you and your promise to me. We've had this covenant over the last 6 years, and you'll be releasing me from my covenant to you this Sunday. So remember to bring parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. We're going to be doing it a little bit multi-sensorially. And I just want to say that I've been changed by my promise to you and your promise to me. I've been changed. I've loved getting to know you and loving you. And I've loved worshiping with you and having the honor of speaking in front of you every week, and singing with you. And perhaps most importantly, or not importantly, but you've really impacted me by your promise to Macon. I'm leaving our covenant together with my own covenant that I'm going to be excitedly planting somewhere else of community ministry. It's been kind of amazing being one of the few liberal religious female clergy people in Middle Georgia. And I've been a big fish in a small pond. And I've gotten to see some really beautiful ways that we're organizing and helping to make that better tomorrow. So that is the green acorn that I'm carrying with me into my new promise that I'll be planting somewhere else, which is, doing ministry outside the walls of a congregation as well as inside, but that community ministry piece, that love of place, that love of people that goes beyond the walls of a particular congregation. That is a beautiful promise that you've given to me. So thank you. I love you all, and I'll see you Sunday and Saturday, actually, 11 a.m. at Daisy Park for our goodbye crawl. Bye.